Hey everybody, it's Christopher Small, the Unconventional Attorney. Today I want to talk to you about the $100 million deal that only took 10 years worth of work. Before I get to that though, I want to remind you, if you are not subscribed to the world's greatest law firm owner newsletter of all time, you can do so by going to unconventionalnewsletter.com. All right, so this is unprecedented, by the way. This is my second time recording a video today. You're not going to know this if you're listening to this later, but I wanted to come on and talk about this because I just saw this. I was going to put it on Instagram, and then I'm like, no, let's put it on here. It'll be there later because it's a really important message. And I've talked about it before in different contexts, but this is real. It's present. It happened today, I think. And I wanted to talk about it because I think it's a problem that a lot of us law firm owners have, and it's sort of looking too short of a window for success and feeling like a failure in too short of a time period. Okay, now what am I talking about? $100 million for 10 years worth of work. If you are listening to any podcast at all, you probably have heard of the Joe Rogan Experience, which is Joe Rogan's podcast. Okay, he's a comedian, he's a jiu-jitsu guy, but he has a podcast, and he puts out probably 3 or 4 episodes a week, and they're like 3 hours long, each of them. He talks to all kinds of crazy people, Elon Musk, but he talks to a lot of comedians, and he just talks. And to be honest, he is the inspiration for the longer episodes that you're now hearing on this podcast, because I like the style. I like the way that the content comes out. I think it's interesting and fun, and it changes up sort of these little mini things that I do all the time. But he announced today on his show that he has just signed an exclusive deal with Spotify to host his podcast for $100 million, okay? And the thing is, people are going to see that $100 million, and they're going to be like, man, he's so lucky. You know, whatever. He has all these connections, blah, 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 blah. But the fact is, if you go onto the podcast app, you can scroll down all the way to his very first episode, okay? And here's the other thing. Today's episode was number 1473, 1,473 episodes of his podcast, all right? You can go all the way back and you can listen to number 1. Number 1 is a shit show, okay? It's funny, but it's not anything like what it is now. His interview skills aren't as good. The audio's not as good. Nothing is as good as it was then. But you know what he did that so many people, including you, maybe, are failing to do? Is put in the work consistently. Once he started that podcast, he kept putting them out over and over and over and over again. And over the course of 10 years, he's put out 1,400, okay? And I'm too slow to do the math. But if you take over 10 years, 1,400, that's 140 episodes a year. That's like what, 3 a week, basically. So he's been putting out 3 podcast episodes a week for 10 years. And now he has the big results, okay? Yes, by the way, he's making a tremendous amount of money the last few years from this because it built up. But at the beginning, he was making no money. But he continued to show up day after day after day, put in the work, put in the effort, right? Do the things. Sometimes I know he didn't want to do it. Sometimes I know he didn't want to show up, but he did. He put the work in. He put it out there, even when it wasn't great, even when it wasn't perfect, and the results are paying off. It's the same thing for you. You've got to create content. You've got to start teaching people what you know. You've got to start talking about the things that are interesting to you. You've got to start putting in the work, and you've got to put it in consistently, and you've got to be committed to doing it for a long, long time. You know, if you're like me, you're not trying to build a law firm so that you can let it fizzle out in a year or two. Like, this is a lifelong thing that you're trying to build. Whether or not you want to be the attorney that's doing it all the time is beside the point. You want to build something that lasts a long time. Maybe even becomes sort of a legacy thing for you. If you're doing that, why don't you put the work in? Okay, show up every day, knowing that you've got this big long-term goal out there. Stop chasing the short-term dollars. Stop chasing the shiny objects. Put the work in, build a brand, build a company, build a legacy, build a team, right? Build a tribe of loyal customers, loyal clients, loyal former clients, friends, everybody. Build this thing up, and you will see the payoff down the road, okay? The problem is you don't know when that payoff's coming. You don't know if it's 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. You don't know when it's coming. You just got to show up every day and do the work. Okay, and that's why I wanted to hop on here for the second time today, which I have never, I'm pretty sure I've never done 2 episodes in a day, but I might start doing it anyway. I just felt compelled to talk about this because it's so important. It's literally the thing that keeps me going. It's the thing that gets me to show up every day, is that I'm not doing this for today. Like, I'm not creating this video for you right now in hopes that you'll call me, right? I'm trying to provide you value for such a long time and in such a great way that you feel compelled someday to come and hang out with me, okay? That you feel compelled to come and find out what else is going on behind the curtain. And if you don't, by the way, I hope that you take enough out of these episodes, enough out of this information, that you go and do your own thing, right? The whole point of this is to be great. Even if you don't come into the sanctuary, even if you never, do anything with me, I'm still trying to provide you enough value to be great, to do it, all right? So if you're feeling low, if you're feeling lazy, if you're feeling hesitant, stop doing that, okay? Put the work in, show up every day, do the thing, even if you don't want to do it, and maybe you can have your own $100 million day, right? All right, that's it. Hope you like this. If you do, hit the like button. If you know anybody that needs to hear this, please share it with them. If you have a question or comment, please leave it. And if you are not subscribed to the world's greatest law firm owner newsletter of all time, go to unconventionalnewsletter.com, sign up. It's amazing. Every Sunday, I send you goodness. All right, that is it. I'm Christopher Small. I'm the Unconventional Attorney. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you.